Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video for today. So in today's video, we do have to talk again about some major announcements in the tech, more specifically in the AI space. I also want to touch on some more information that we actually got with regards to Windsurf. Remember, Windsurf, Google came in and basically poached the CEO and the co-founder and a couple of R&D employees as well. Windsurf was supposed to be acquired by OpenAI for $3 billion. That did not happen, but someone else is going to acquire the rest of Windsurf. We have to talk about the big Meta announcement and how that will impact companies like Nvidia and AMD. And then I want to share a little bit more of my thoughts regarding ASML and TSM. ASML reports before the market opens on Wednesday. TSM reports before the market opens on Thursday. Both of those earnings reports will be reviewed live by myself and Jose on Wednesday and on Thursday. So stick around for that. This is how the market has closed on a Monday. The market's actually Dow, Nasdaq, and S&P closed out green. We started red, closed out green. So it seems like no tariff story can scare off this market. Or maybe this is the, well, close to the top before we correct ourselves. We are also entering the earnings season, so a lot of things can change. Now, Palantir is making its way to $150 per share, 351, close to $352 billion in a market cap. Google actually closed the day up 0.76%. Meta was up 0.48%. Tesla was up 1%. Then we have here Apple down 1.2%, Nvidia down 0.52%. And I believe, AMD was, let's call it, flat for the day. Now, some of the big winners for the day were Nebius up 17%, Oklo up 11%, Rocket Lab up another 10%, HIMS was up 8.6% despite the weak downloads data that we got in the morning. Iron was up 6.4%, AST up 5%, Palantir up close to 5% as well. Oscar, nice little rebound there despite all the downgrades. Oscar up 4.8%. The biggest loser of the day was Micron in my list here, down 4.7%. A boutique firm came out with a note saying that, they are already seeing some weakness, some softness in HBM for 2026, and maybe already some softness for Micron, and I believe it was SanDisk for the back half of this year. Quite strange because HBM is sold out for 2025, and in 2026 we are expected to see Nvidia and AMD come out with some big GPUs that are in need of quite a lot of HBM. So I'm definitely not losing any sleep on that. And for those that are saying, but Micron went from around 60 to 130 since April, so it makes sense that no, it didn't, right? It didn't make sense for it to be trading at $60, even $70 or $80, to be honest. So it's just Micron, or the market giving Micron the respect it deserved, and that's why we went to 120 and 130, and now we're down a little bit. Not a big deal in my opinion. So without further ado, if you enjoy this type of videos, hit all the buttons, especially the subscribe one. We're very, very close to reaching 99,000 subscribers, and then of course we're going to go for that 100K. So if you're new here, hit the red button, would really appreciate it. And if you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. All right, so big news item number one here, and that's a post from Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Meta Platforms on Facebook. He has, by the way, 122 million followers on that platform. So he said the following: for our super intelligence effort, I'm focused on building the most elite and talent-dense team in the industry, basically the Avengers of AI. We're also, or maybe Justice League, or maybe the X-Men, or the League of Shadows, whatever you prefer. So we're also going to invest hundreds of billions of dollars into compute to build super intelligence. We have the capital from our business to do this. Semi-Analysis just reported that Meta is on track to be the first lab to bring a 1 gigawatt plus supercluster online. I'm going to show you a little clip from Jensen about a gigawatt and how much that is going to cost. We're actually building several multiple gigawatt clusters. We are calling the first one Prometheus, and it's coming online in 2026. We're also building Hyperion, which will be able to scale up to 5 gigawatts over several years. we're building multiple more Titan clusters as well. Just one of these covers a significant part of the footprint of Manhattan. Meta Superintelligence Lab will have industry-leading levels of compute and by far the greatest compute per researcher. Here we have a new pricing metric, price to researcher, or in this case, compute per researcher. I'm looking forward to working with the top researchers to advance the frontier. And of course, we know that Meta has been poaching talent left, right, and center, whether it's from Google DeepMind, OpenAI, or some other smaller AI startups. They are building a truly, let's say, world-class research team, because it's one thing to have the infrastructure. But as we've seen with Llama 4, for example, Llama 4, I think we can call it a flop, right? I think Llama 4 has not delivered what it should have delivered. And so, yeah, Zuck here pivoted a little bit. I've seen also some reports and rumors that said that they are not going to be open sourced anymore. They're going to be closed and try to monetize these models. I mean, okay, maybe it's going to be the same as the others, right? Some of the models will remain free and the other ones not. And so, okay, interesting. For those that do wonder how big this is going to be, well, this is Hyperion data center over Manhattan. So pretty big, right? Pretty big. My question, and I asked this on X as well, my question is, when you're going to build all of these superclusters, right? All of these infrastructures and data centers and all of that, who is and how are you going to power all of it, right? Because you are going to need quite a lot of energy. So I do wonder if we're going to see here more deals with maybe some nuclear players, because we have seen an announcement about a month or so ago, Meta and Constellation partner on clean energy project. So they say here, as we develop AI technology that's transforming the world economy and the way people connect, we are continuing to add clean and renewable energy to the grid. We are excited to announce a 20-year corporate nuclear energy agreement with Constellation Energy that will preserve thousands of local jobs and enable new energy capacity in southern Illinois. Now, this, of course, is great. This is, again, a 20-year thing, but I do wonder, right? I do wonder for the big plans that Zuck basically announced, how they're going to power all of it. Are they going to have deals with the likes of Applied Digital? Are they going to acquire maybe Bitcoin miners just for the energy side of it, right? Maybe Iron, maybe Cypher mining, maybe some others, right? That you basically acquire that business, you remove all of the Bitcoin mining aspect to it, and you're left with all of the energy capacity that you need. But then again, you will need quite a lot of energy to power those huge data centers. So that's a question I'd love to get an answer to, because whoever gets that deal, or whomever, right? I don't know how many companies are going to play a part in this. You're going to be making quite a lot of money. And as I said, 1 gigawatt or 5 gigawatts, multiple gigawatts, right? How much is that going to cost? Well, we can go and have a listen to what Jensen has said not so long ago.
But really, in the end, we're not building data centers, we're building AI factories. And this is the XAI Colossus factory. This is Stargate. 4 million square feet. 4 million square feet, 1 gigawatt. And so just think about this factory here. This 1 gigawatt factory is probably going to be about, 60 to 80 billion dollars. Out of that 60 to 80 billion dollars, the electronics, the computing part of it, these systems are 40, 50 billion dollars of it. And so these are gigantic factory investments. The reason why people build factories is because you know the answer. The more you buy.
In case you don't know, it's the more you buy, the more you save. So jokes aside, right? 60 to 80 billion dollars, right, to build this. Of that 60 to 80 billion dollars, around, let's call it 40 billion dollars goes to compute. 40 billion, this is a translation basically, 40 billion dollars will go to probably Nvidia, and some of it will go to the likes of AMD as well, and then maybe some of the networking partners there. But although I think Nvidia can figure that one out, and AMD will figure that one out as well, starting with the MI400. And so if we go back to those numbers here, right, 1 gigawatt plus supercluster that will come online, right? We're calling the first one here Prometheus, 1 gigawatt, $40 to $50 billion, going to Nvidia and probably AMD as well. I don't know what the split there will be. Still, quite a lot of money. Then we're also building Hyperion, which will be able to scale up to 5 gigawatts over the next several years. So let's do 5 times 40, $200 billion. And that's just from one company, which is Meta, which is quite crazy, right? Because if we look here at the hyperscaler CapEx, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and of course, yeah, this is, I mean, it looks very dramatic because we're looking here all the way since 2005. But we're now at $212 billion of CapEx. $212 billion of CapEx, and it does not seem like 2026 is going to be less than that. I don't think that's the case. And again, we're only talking here about 3 players. Only 3 players: Google, Microsoft, Amazon, not even Meta. So think about this the next time you see an article or the next time you doubt yourself around your Nvidia investment or AMD investment or any other chip-related or semiconductor-related investment. This is not the end game. We're not near the end game. It's not even close. Then, speaking of AMD, we had a pretty positive announcement here by TensorWave. TensorWave is a company that is working, it seems, exclusively with AMD. So they said they had 8,192 liquid-cooled MI325X GPUs. This is the largest AMD GPU training cluster in North America, built by TensorWave, ready for what's next. And it also said in this article right here, TensorWave's deployment isn't a one-off. According to the team, this is phase 1 of a much larger rollout with plans to integrate AMD's MI350X later this year. That chip, based on a CDNA4, introduces FP4 and FP6 precision on support, higher bandwidth ceilings, and more power-hungry designs that could push TDPs up to 1,400 watts per chip, something that couldn't be tamed by air alone. So TensorWave already seems to be on the right track. The ROCm stack still has work to do, but with 8,192 MI325 GPUs already humming away under liquid cooling, AMD finally has the scale to prove it belongs in the same conversation as the likes of Nvidia. So pretty cool to see this. Of course, we also know that Oracle will have also quite a lot of the MI350s actually, and then probably the MI400s as well. We will wait until they announce that that one is live. Then quickly touching back on Windsurf before talking a little bit about TSM and ASML. So Windsurf, of course, as we've said, Windsurf last week was not going to be acquired by OpenAI for $3 billion. Instead, Google came in, CEO, co-founder, a couple of members of the R&D team are going to join Google DeepMind. Google will also have a non-exclusive licensing deal with Windsurf. Windsurf is an AI coding startup. But here we have today, Cognition is going to acquire Windsurf. So basically everything that remains is going to be acquired by Cognition. So what exactly is this deal? Well, Cognition will own Windsurf's beloved product and strong business, the Windsurf IDE, now with full access to the latest cloud models, Windsurf's IP, including their trademark and the strong brand that they've built, $82 million of ARR, and a fast-growing business with enterprise ARR doubling quarter over quarter, a user base that includes over 350 enterprise customers and hundreds of thousands of daily active users. And here's the thing for everyone that's still working at Windsurf, of course, you're getting taken care of. Now, I didn't know what Cognition is, and Cognition is the creator here of Devin. Devin is the AI software engineer that you're seeing here. So it makes sense for those two companies to be now one company. I just found it very interesting, right? Because imagine you are AI engineer or whatever, and you're working at these startups, you're basically creating a product that is supposed to, well, yes, make you better, but eventually will probably replace you. Moving on to the last two things here. So on Wednesday, we're going to have ASML before the market opens, and then on Thursday, TSM before the market opens. With ASML, of course, I guess the stock will move based on bookings for the quarter, net new order bookings for the quarter, which is a metric that starting 2026, they will not provide us anymore. They will only provide us that number on an annual basis, because they say that, look, quarter over quarter, these things can fluctuate. And so we don't really think that this is the number that you should be focusing on. But I guess since they are still going to show us that number, the market will definitely focus on that. I'm just interested to see if they have any more information to give us with regards to the upcoming plans, the upcoming EUV machines, maybe new orders that have come in. What about the backlog? Because we know that Samsung and Intel, right, have pulled back a lot of their investment. So it's interesting to see and hear from ASML if something has changed. And then on Thursday for TSM, revenue-wise, we get, of course, the monthly numbers, so we can already figure out what that's going to be. It's going to be pretty good. Then let's see what we get here margin-wise, CapEx-wise, advanced packaging-wise, more build-outs in the United States, more deals here and there. We'll hear more about that on Thursday. And of course, like I said, we're going to cover that live during the opening, the market open show, 8 a.m. Eastern. And so all in all, that's about it. Of course, the more that we're going to hear these big tech players over the next couple of weeks, right, because earnings season is starting, the more we hear about them going to build out more and more data centers, the more this will translate to, more GPUs sold by the likes of Nvidia and AMD. And of course, a lot of these companies, most of these big tech companies are also designing their own chips. So that's going to be quite good for the likes of Broadcom and TSM as well. Other than that, pretty good day here for us Nebius shareholders. I'm happy I bought a little bit more last week, but I would have been happier if I had the opportunity to buy even more, because I thought the price of the stock would be a bit more stable, but it did not, after that analyst came out with a pretty positive note and a $68 price target. And so, yeah, all in all, that's about it. If you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one.